Hello and welcome to the show. We are Jim and Sam, and this is where we like to give you our rating first, and then we like to talk about the things that we did and did not like about the movie we just saw. Last night we got an early screening of Bumblebee, and the review embargo was up, so we are doing our review early for this movie. Suffice it to say, I am the huge Transformers fan here. I grew up with this franchise. I've got the toys.
Gives it away.
I got the shirt. I've seen the original entire series. I've got it on DVD. It's behind me.
We have a lot of collectibles.
Yeah, I'm a Transformers mega. I don't know if I'd say I'm a mega fan. Maybe I'm a mega fan.
It's the shelf says otherwise.
It's pretty much in my DNA. So,
as they put it.
With that said, I was very excited for this rendition of Transformers because they brought it back to the 80s. I was excited what they're going to do. New director. So with that said, Sam, you ready to give our rating for Bumblebee?
Yes.
Also,
are you going to make it?
I just want to say, apologize up front. I am a little sick. I will be editing out my coughs if I do cough. So if there's any audio drop in this and it may seem awkward, just know it's because I'm cutting out coughs and I'm not going to subject you guys to listening to me cough while we're doing this. So, okay. Sam, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. See it. This brought Transformers back to the original generation G1. If you like, they played a video at the end of this movie after the credits. It wasn't a post-credit scene. It was like a behind the scenes. Not really sure why they showed it to our screening. It's on YouTube. I've seen this video before.
Oh.
But they've talked about bringing it back to G1, and they did. Everything for the way the Decepticons acted, the way they looked, the Autobots, Cybertron, everything about this screamed the original cartoon. There's just stuff that was ripped out of the cartoon that they straight up put into this movie, and I was geeking out when I was seeing some of the stuff. But I can talk about it all day. Let's just get into the review. We got to talk about this. Okay, so we don't need to do an introduction. It's Transformers. This is the 6th live-action Transformers movie that they have made. So I already talked about a little bit of things that I liked about this movie in the intro here. Sam, why don't you talk about some of the things that you liked about this film?
There's actually surprisingly a lot. I wasn't really into Transformers. I don't think the first go around of movies really had done it for me enough to really be super excited about this. But I was really excited to see Haley take on this role in Transformer, and I think I really enjoyed all of the fighting scenes. I liked the interactions with the characters, the building of the relationships, and I thought that it was just a really exciting film to watch, and I was pleasantly surprised by what I was seeing.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you on your assessment of the original Transformers movies. I actually liked the first one.
Yeah.
When I first saw the first one, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was actually kind of disappointed walking out of it because I felt like they kind of missed the mark with some of the Transformers personalities and actually making them front and center and getting us to care about the Transformers. They're kind of there for more aesthetic purposes.
Yeah.
They were just more there for cool action sequences. And the only one who really got any major screen time in the original is Optimus Prime and Bumblebee to an extent. But in this one, they gave all the Transformers in this movie that appear in this movie personalities. I mean,
I see. I know what you're saying.
Just the opening 10 minutes of this movie is just one big Transformers action sequence. They essentially took the first episode of the cartoon where the Transformers are leaving Cybertron and coming to Earth and essentially just turned it into this movie. Like, that opening sequence is ripped straight from the first episode of the Transformers cartoon. So the trailers show the big battle on Cybertron. You see Shockwave, Soundwave, you got the Seeker.
And that's all from the show?
Yeah, all that stuff is ripped from the show, and Bumblebee's running around in the show trying to get to the Autobot, trying to get to the Ark, which is what they leave on to leave Cybertron. They change it up a little bit for this, but that intro of the show when they're leaving Cybertron, the big war is on Cybertron, Cybertron has fallen. That is essentially our opening segment of this film, and it is awesome.
Yeah, I remember watching the opening segments and being like, okay, I'm in for a good time. I'm actually really excited to see the rest of this movie and to see Bumblebee's character.
Yeah, and Shockwave sounded like Shockwave, Soundwave sounded like Shockwave. They all talked, they had personalities.
Is Bumblebee a kid? I felt like he was a teenage boy. Was he supposed to be younger?
Bumblebee's always been a little younger in the cartoon show. He's always been a little bit more...
I never caught that in the other ones.
Because he couldn't talk. Bumblebee talks in this movie. That's the other thing. Like, he's in the movie opens, he has a voice. And so first 10 minutes, Bumblebee's actually talking and interacting with other Transformers.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really nice touch. When he started talking, I was like, yes, finally, they're actually going to give Bumblebee a voice. And then when he gets to Earth, there's another like action sequence on Earth that was also really awesome. The movie does slow down a little bit after the Transformer stuff, after the first 10 minutes when we're introduced to the human characters.
I felt that it was very Disney. It just had the Disney TV show movies character personality in a little bit, and it took me a lot to get warmed up to Haley's character. I really like her as an actress. I'm obsessed with her in Pitch Perfect 3, Pitch Perfect 2. I really am a fan of hers, but there was just a small segment there where I was like, oh, are they going to make this super Disney? And it just kind of felt like a typical Disney teenager with the way she interacted with the other kids and her job and all of those things. I think they could have done it a little bit, well, I shouldn't speak like that because I don't know what they should have done, but I think that at first I wasn't sure how I was going to like that. Yeah. And then it really warmed up. Once she got Bumblebee and she made that connection with Bumblebee, it was just, I couldn't look away.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Like, once we get to Earth and we're introduced to the girl in the film, Haley Steinfeld, I want to say it takes probably like 10 to 15 minutes before we get back to the Transformer stuff. And when we do get back to the Transformer stuff, we're then introduced to the two Decepticons of the film. So we're introduced to the two Decepticons of the films. There's, I don't want to spoil who's in the scene or whatever, but there is a cameo from another Transformer, a childhood favorite of mine, where the Decepticons are interacting with another Autobot. And when I saw the Autobot, this is one of the things that this film does right. When I saw the Autobot, I just look at the design and go, that's who that is. And then they state who it was, and it was who I thought it was because it looked like him.
Yeah.
With the other films, when you looked at a character, like I couldn't tell you that the pickup truck was Ironhide. I couldn't tell you that the ambulance was supposed to be Ratchet.
Well, in the ending credits, after the credits, they had the behind the scenes, it's also on YouTube. They really expressed that they wanted to use as close of a color that they could to the original Generations 1 TV show, and I appreciated their effort to be able to do that and take the time to do that, because I think that made me a fan of the Transformers, and I'm interested in going back and seeing how those were. I probably won't watch the whole thing, but I would watch a couple episodes to see those connections.
Yeah, and the thing with that particular sequence with the two Decepticons and the Autobot, who's a fan favorite of mine, he was a personal favorite of me. When that scene ends, part of me was kind of heartbroken. It was actually one of the first times in a Transformers movie where I actually felt sad, because I actually was somewhat invested in the scene, and part of it's probably because of nostalgia, but it's the first time probably in these Transformers movies where they were able to convey some sort of like emotion out of me, because the Decepticons have personalities, the Autobots have personalities. They get you to actually care about these characters.
Well, Bumblebee's eyes in the entire movie was everything. I mean, you have to really study him and his emotions, and you can see everything he's feeling just by the way his eyes move. They did such a wonderful job with that. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I never really had a problem with the Transformers, the way they emoted in the original films. I actually thought they did a fine job with their faces. Maybe a little too CGI-ish, but they definitely do pare down the CGI in this and simplify it to give them more of, I guess, less of a mechanical look and more of a sentient look.
I feel like everything you're saying right now is going over my head, because I think that the only one that I ever really paid attention to was the Transformers one. I don't even think I've seen any of them past the Transformers 3.
Yeah, I didn't see last year's Transformers. I didn't see it the last night. It's on Amazon Prime right now.
There's a couple of them that I didn't see.
We watched
How many
Age
are
of
there?
5. This is the 6th one.
Oh, then I guess I did see the 4th one.
We watched Age of Extinction. It wasn't good.
I don't remember.
The other thing that I was actually surprised I was sold on was John Cena's character. John Cena's character.
He was fun.
He was fun. He was sort of a meta in a way, where some things happen. I don't want to spoil like where the how the human characters interact with the Transformers in this film. But he has a few jokes that actually land that are really funny, and that's one of the other things about this film that I liked more than the previous films, whereas Michael Bay's films are very crude with their humor, very sexualized.
Well, isn't that all of his stuff?
Yeah, it's all of his stuff, but it's just not Transformers. Like, we don't need to be like over-sexualizing Megan Fox and all the other female characters that are in those movies. This just doesn't have a place in Transformers. It's pointless. But all that stuff is pretty much just ripped out of...
I think I just fell in love with you a little bit more.
But all that stuff is just ripped out of this film.
Yeah.
There's still humor there. There's still like this awkward humor between the kids and the parents. Haley Steinfeld's mom and stepdad, the stepdad feels kind of like a cartoon character a little bit, but not so much to where it was distracting. And some of the military characters as well in this film have sort of this cartoony vibe to them, but not to the point to where it was distracting like in the previous Transformers films, where there's like some jokes. For instance, when they're in the first Transformers movie, when they're battling Scorponok and they have to make a collect call to be able to call the Pentagon. It's like it ruins the scene for me. Like, I really hate that stuff in the original Transformers film. All that stuff is gone. They don't have stuff like that in this one, which was a pleasant surprise. Absolutely loved all the decisions they made. They pretty much took all the things from the previous Transformers movies that rubbed me the wrong way and took them out. It's like, all right. And just left in all the pieces that I actually really liked.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that would really make this film better is if we got a film like this that focused on Optimus Prime and Megatron's relationship. That's the Transformers movie I would love to see.
What? Megatron and who?
Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The two
I follow.
main.
I know who they are. You don't have to
Their
explain
relationship is essentially the catalyst and the driving force of all the Transformers stories.
Okay.
So this is like it's a spin-off.
This is very much an introduction.
Yeah, that's the
Is
other
Bumblebee
thing.
not actually a main character in Transformers TV shows, or is he?
No, he's the main character. He's always
is
been
the
him
main
and
character?
him and Optimus Prime have always been sort of the two main characters. Of the
I can
Transformers
definitely
series.
see that this film was like a setup for very good future Transformers films. I think they're just. I feel like this is definitely. I feel like this is definitely a reboot.
That's
This
what I
is
was gonna
very
ask.
much a reboot, and everything that I knew before this movie is gone. Like, this is the movie I'm gonna watch if I want to catch up on Transformers lingo.
Yeah.
Or like, what is up with Transformers? Like, this is what I would watch. I wouldn't watch any of the other ones.
So this was originally billed as a prequel to the other Transformers movies.
Oh.
But with the way that this film ends, I actually feel like this is more of a reboot of the Transformers series than a prequel.
Because I don't really know much about the other Transformers, that I wouldn't see that. I would see it as a reboot or as another movie that's going to continue on in a different direction than what they've been doing.
Yeah, to me, this feels like a reboot because of where this film ends. And
Well,
I just
visually, it looks completely different.
I want them to continue from this Bumblebee movie and make a whole new Transformers series.
We'll see.
Just run with what you did here and forget about the other films. The other films are in the past. They're done.
Yeah.
Make Bumblebee your new standard for the Transformers films and just make sequels from this. I want the next one to be Transformers Optimus Prime. Give me Optimus Prime's film in this aesthetic. This is very much, it felt like E.T. meets Transformers, which is fine. It's good. It was great. Absolutely. I love the film. But now give us the Optimus Prime version of this.
Yeah.
And the fans will show up in droves for that one. Mm-hmm. You will reestablish the fan base for your live action films.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, we've run out of time. Is there anything about this film that you didn't like?
I kind of pointed on it in the beginning. It was a little bit rough, but after 10, 15 minutes, it was fine. It was just 10 minutes in the beginning that I was a little bit wondering what they were going to do with this. How Disney was it going to feel?
Yeah.
But it definitely turned out to be a very excellent film that even if you're not a Transformers, you can enjoy this.
Transformers fan?
Transformers fan, you can
Even
enjoy
if you're
this.
not a Transformers, you can like this. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. Well, you're practically one, so we have enough around our apartment.
Loud and proud, Transformers fan.
Yeah. Loud and proud. They're all over the place in this. They're all over the place here.
Yeah, I'm with you. The introduction to Haley Steinfeld's character, the first 10 to 15 minutes with that was a little iffy for me. But then once we get back to the Transformer stuff and she's interacting with them, it was absolutely fantastic. Loved the how her relationship with Bumblebee
For sure.
Grew from their initial interaction. The way she played around with him on the beach was a really nice scene. There's a lot that we actually didn't talk about in this film.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
There's a lot of cute segments with her and Bumblebee.
Well, we'll talk about that in our spoiler review. We're going to do that, so we can really get into that next time.
Okay. All right. So that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you for watching this episode of 10 Minute Takes. We are Jim and Sam. We got more coming. We are doing the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel next. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more. And comment below. Let us know if you're excited to see Bumblebee. We know you probably haven't seen it yet, but if you're one of the lucky ones that saw an early screening, what did you think? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.